a very tiny model that has superhuman reasoning capabilities. It can run ridiculously fast and 1 trillion tokens of context and access to every tool you can possibly imagine. So it doesn't kind of matter what the problem is. It doesn't matter whether the model has the knowledge or the data in it or not. If you think of it as this reasoning engine that we can then throw like all of the possible context of a business or a person's life into, that's like quite amazing what people can do. And I think, directionally we're headed there.
That video literally changed everything for me. Sam Altman said a tiny model with superhuman reasoning capabilities that's extremely fast with 1 trillion tokens of context window that can literally access any tool you can imagine. Just let that sink in. That is insane. If that is the future of AI models, then that literally changes everything. So when I first started my AI business, I was obsessed with the idea of vertical AI agents. I always had this thought that proprietary data is the most important thing. And so if you wanted to build a very successful AI startup, what you'd do is you'd grab proprietary data and you'd fine tune it on an AI model to get the AI model to be an expert in that specific vertical. And then once I did that, I could just sell that AI agent expert to all the people inside that niche. But what I had not considered is, as Sam Altman said, in the future, there is not going to be any need for vertical AI agent because you can literally throw all of the possible context of a business or a person's life into one single prompt to the agent. So instead of having a vertical AI agent for the law industry or for the accounting industry, you can literally have a horizontal agent that can become vertical on demand. So instead of having to fine tune your vertical AI agent on data, you will just prompt it to say, act as a professional lawyer. And you'd give it access to all of the documents that's required for the AI to be able to make the right decision in that specific vertical. Because think of it this way, it's literally got an infinite context window, so you can give it as many documents as you want. It's got superhuman reasoning capabilities, so it can literally absorb all of that information inside the context window and use its intelligence to make decisions that we literally can't ourselves as humans. And you can literally give it access to any tool you want. So it can communicate with all these different apps and CRMs and databases. So what it's looking like is that in the future, instead of having vertical AI agents, you're going to have the one horizontal AI agent, let's call it Agent Zero, that will literally become vertical on demand. Now that is insane. And so if, like me, your goal was to build just a vertical AI agent that had access to proprietary data that can just dominate everyone else in that industry because the horizontal agent doesn't have access to that proprietary data inside its training data, well, then you're going to have to come up with something different. Because if what Sam Altman predicted the future is going to look like is actually correct, then that absolutely changes everything. And I said that 10 times because it actually does. So in a world where Agent Zero, which is the smartest model ever, that you can literally give it any documents and it can turn into a vertical agent like that, is accessible to literally everyone, what is the moat behind your business? What is the thing that's going to make your business into $1 million or $1 billion business? That's the question that I want to address now. I think the moat is going to be in these 4 things. Number 1, proprietary data. So every business is going to have their own proprietary data that you're going to feed into the agent to be able to solve their problems. Now that's their proprietary data. Your proprietary data in this instance is going to be the knowledge and expertise you have about that specific problem you're solving, which you'll probably still put inside the prompt. So the proprietary data point is probably not as important when it comes to actually building an AI startup in that space. The thing that is really important, however, is the brand trust. Especially in highly regulated or high stakes industries like legal or healthcare, trust will become an extremely important factor. Brands would like to work with you, not because your Agent Zero is better than the Agent Zero that OpenAI has, but because they trust your brand, because you're credible, because you've set guardrails around the agent that is going to ensure that it's going to be compliant with their specific industry. So the brand trust is going to be extremely important. But in my opinion, the next 2 are way more important. The first super important thing is going to be distribution. I spoke about this in my previous video, that distribution is the number 1 thing that you should focus on right now. Distribution is basically just the ability to access your target audience. So for example, you might have a YouTube channel or a big LinkedIn audience, or you might have a Twitter account, or you might have a massive email newsletter of your specific target audience, or whatever it is. Just the ability for you to be able to access them and sell them things. Your distribution is going to be extremely important tomorrow, where literally anyone can start selling Agent Zero, because those relationships and those touch points that you made over the years is going to be exactly what gets people to buy from you and not from everyone else. So distribution is going to be extremely critical. Then the last point, which I think is extremely important, is being able to build ecosystems and integrations for Agent Zero. So instead of you just thinking, let me build the most beautiful fine-tuned version of Agent Zero, you should be thinking, how can I build an ecosystem that will integrate with Agent Zero to solve problems in a specific vertical. So for example, instead of you wanting to build the best possible AI model by fine-tuning it, what you should want to do is you should want to own the layer that connects the AI model to all of the tools and data sources inside that specific vertical. So for example, if you know inside this vertical, there's 5 or 10 different apps or softwares that are being used, you want to be able to build the system that integrates these applications with the AI model securely. That security factor is extremely important. Making sure that you build guardrails on what the AI can and cannot do within the client's databases on the different applications. So instead of you focusing more on the AI model and trying to fine tune it with proprietary data to make it the best sales coach ever, what you should be doing is focusing on building an ecosystem that the AI model can communicate with in order to solve problems for that business. And owning that integration layer is going to be the real moat in the future. Or at least that's how I see it. So whatever you do, don't bet against AI capabilities. The reality is that right now, we're on this exponential curve in terms of improvements in AI capabilities, and the worst thing that you can absolutely do is take a bet against the fact that AI is going to get better at this exponential rate. The worst thing you can do is build an application or a software or a tool that bets on the fact that AI is not going to get better. Because once it does get better, you will absolutely get eaten alive and crushed by everyone else inside the market. Or better yet, you'll get crushed by OpenAI itself. But as I said, Agent Zero is literally just theory. It's a potential possibility in the future. The reality is, where we are right now with current AI capabilities, you have a huge opportunity in front of you, because AI capabilities have gotten good enough for you to actually build really valuable AI tools and softwares and systems, but they haven't gotten good enough where you can literally just use GPT-5 or GPT-5 Thinking or Grok 4 for literally every single vertical. They're not at that point yet. So what you should be doing is recognizing that this is potentially where we're going, but this is the ground truth of where we are right now. And then using this opportunity in front of you to do one very important and critical thing. And that is building distribution inside your vertical. That should be your number one priority right now. Building distribution, building those channels, building those touch points with potential customers. Because the reality is that as capabilities get better, building products becomes commoditized. People can literally build applications with just one single prompt. I made a video about this literally a couple days ago. Go watch that. So building products becomes extremely simple. And even from a distribution standpoint, let's say if you wanted to build an audience on LinkedIn, building a strong distribution channel would also become near impossible, because everyone's going to start blasting all these different social media channels with AI generated content. And in a world where there's so many products and so much AI generated content, it's going to be very hard for you to stand out, because that world is going to be a world full of noise. And so I like to say that if you put the difficulty of building a distribution channel against time, it's going to come out as an exponential curve, meaning that the rate of difficulty is going to increase over time, because there's going to be way more noise inside the marketplace. So you literally cannot afford to start tomorrow, because starting tomorrow isn't just going to make it a little bit more difficult. It's going to make it a lot more difficult to build distribution. So my recommendation for anyone that wants to take advantage of the AI opportunity is to ship quick and focus on distribution, because that is going to be the real moat or the real differentiator tomorrow. Now, I had to post a video about that because I think it's extremely important and it was on my mind for so long. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Let me know if you think Agent Zero or the best AI model in the future is literally going to absolutely crush all different AI startups, or whether AI startups are still going to exist inside different verticals and be able to build billion, 2 billion, 10 billion, or $100 billion valuations. I definitely hope for the second option, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Now, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.